to another exciting live stream. It's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black the one and only, and today we're going to talk about why Jim Starlin left Marvel. Now, this video is in response to a Screen Rant article that came out 3 hours ago, titled Marvel Announces Thanos Graphic Novel That Led Creator to Quit. Now, you may have seen the thumbnail. Yo, Scavenger, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. You may have seen the thumbnail. That thumbnail is a very old picture of me back at Dragon Con a few years ago. I actually met the creator of Thanos, aka Jim Starlin. So I got to talk with him. I actually lied and said that I was like his bodyguard, and then I was supposed to be there to protect him. Because back in the day when I went to Dragon Con, I would try and use whatever I could as an excuse to sit with famous people at the table. Scavenger said, sorry for being gone so long. I've been dealing with personal stuff. No problem, Scavenger. No problem at all. Welcome. I'm glad you're able to make it. So, I've talked to Jim Starlin. Jim Starlin's a really cool dude. He's very relaxed. So I was very surprised to hear that some new Thanos graphic novel would be the thing that made Jim Starlin go, no, I'm leaving Marvel. But it wasn't that that was like the only strike. That was just one of the many straws that broke the camel's back. So Jim Starlin's beef with Marvel started back at the first Avengers movie, believe it or not. So if you remember in the first Avengers film, one of those after credit scenes that came up was like Thanos. It was like the reveal that Thanos was going to come and he was going to just like fuck shit up. So it was just a really short scene. It's supposed to be intimidating and cool, and that was it. So Jim Starlin, being the creator of Thanos, was like, hey, where's my money? He was like, you use my character in your film, so you should pay me for using my character in my film. I mean, in your film. To which then Marvel at first was like, what? Like, Thanos is like barely in the movie. He's in there for like that one scene. But after a little bit of like conversation between Marvel and Jim Starlin, eventually they got around it and Marvel paid Jim Starlin for using Thanos in the Avengers. Scavenger said Thanos was a badass in that scene. Agreed, he helped set the tone. He's helped make hype all the way to now, this year, where Infinity War is coming around. But Jim Starlin continued to have a problem with Marvel just like not paying him a lot. Keep in mind, Jim Starlin didn't just create Thanos. Some of his other characters are Drax, Gamora. They list another one of his characters that's like a major figure that they've been using in the films. So they mention Drax, Gamora, and no, they just mentioned Thanos, Drax, and Gamora in the Screen Rant article. That's why I couldn't remember who else it was. They didn't name anybody else. Scavenger said all space characters, basically. Lol. Well, I mean, the thing that upsets me about them not paying him well in regards to Drax and Gamora is they weren't in there for just like one after credit scene. They're like major stars of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. They're in like 2 movies as like the main people in those movies. So for the like Avengers cameo thing at the end with Thanos, like I could understand Marvel being like, sorry, we didn't think about it, you know, he was only in the movie for like a little bit and we didn't think he'd care. But for like scenes where it's like, yeah, they're just in the whole film, like, yeah, Jim Starlin deserves his money on that. Scavenger said Drax and Gamora are lit in those movies. Exactly. So Jim Starlin was fine, because I mean, at least he's getting like paid for them using his characters, unlike what they were doing before. Scavenger says they were lit like in all the scenes. So the thing that really set Starlin off after the whole Avengers debacle is when DC, of all people, used one of his characters, KG Beast, and Batman v Superman. Now you may be like, who the fuck is KG Beast? KG Beast was like a character that wasn't even really important toward like the Batman v Superman plot at all. He was just there, right? So a Jim Starlin character. DC compensated Jim Starlin for KG Beast being in the film. Scavenger said, when did he show up? Exactly. Like, if you don't even remember that KG Beast was in the movie, then, like, why should it matter? DC paid Jim Starlin so much money that Jim had gotten paid more money than he had ever been paid for Thanos, Gamora, and Drax combined by Marvel. That's ridiculous. Scavenger said KG Beast is good though in the comics. So it was just weird. It was really weird for DC for such a like minor, not like well-known character of Jim Starlin's compared to like Drax, Gamora, and Thanos. KG Beast is the one where DC's like, yeah, we used your character, so you should be like well compensated. Jim suddenly realized that Marvel was giving him the dull end of the stick. If I can get this much money from KG Beast, why am I not getting money from all this other stuff? So that was another like gripe that Jim Starlin had. Scavenger says, I don't remember him showing up at all. I know, and the idea that like you don't even remember KG Beast was in Batman v Superman means a lot. Like the idea that DC would pay Jim Starlin so much money for the use of his characters, even though it was a character that like you don't even recognize was in the film. Scavenger said Marvel fucks over a lot of people. There are a list of people that have left Marvel for a variety of reasons as of recent. So the last straw, the final straw, wasn't even him learning that DC would pay more money to use his characters than Marvel. The last straw was Jim Starlin worked on a Thanos book, and as a part of his Thanos book, he had like finished all the story and everything. He has the scripts ready, and he sends the scripts to Marvel. So Marvel gets his scripts for the Thanos story, and then they like call Jim in, and they're like, okay, Jim, so we're going to publish your book. We're going to make your comic, but Infinity War is coming out this year. It's coming out 2018. So here's what we're going to do, Jim. We're going to put this other Thanos story ahead of your story, the story you already submitted. So we're going to put this story in front of yours because we think it'll fit well within the whole Infinity War vibe that's going on this year. You know, we're going to throw this Thanos story in front of the one that you already submitted. So Jim looks over the Thanos story that's going to go before his, and he goes, hey, you guys used a lot of the ideas from my story I submitted, but you're going to publish both? It seems like the story that you're going to drop this year is just really similar to mine, like you ripped off mine. And then it's going to make mine, because it comes out after this one, seem like a ripoff of what they already read. They'll be like, why am I reading it twice? And it's like, why would you use this story that's really similar to the one I wrote instead of just the one I wrote, since they're like almost the same thing? So Jim just fucking leaves. He's like, I'm done. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why you don't pay me for my characters and why you have to like cuck me on my book release. So Jim's just out. And I mean, I was very surprised that like that's the like straw that got him, but I understand. I do. I do feel like the DC treatment though is part of what made him go, you know, I don't have to take this. He realized that others will appreciate his work more, and also he realized Marvel's willing to like undercut him on shit for like no particular reason. Scavenger said Marvel fucks over a lot of people, but they're still pumping out good movies. He said Marvel Comics are pretty bad right now. Speaking of Marvel Comics stuff, if you thought this video was interesting, I also posted another video today. The title of that video was Marvel Cancels Miles Morales Spider-Man Comic. So if you would like to check out that video, I explain why Marvel may, like, what their possible reasons might have been for canceling the Miles Morales Spider-Man comic. So definitely check that out if this video piqued your interest. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring that bell so you're notified whenever we do these live streams. And share this video with your friends if you feel like they're also interested in comic book stuff and they'd like to learn more. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I'll put the Screen Rant article that this was in reference to in the description below if you want to read it for yourself. And have a wonderful day. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jeb like the one and only, logging out. Thank you for tuning in, Scavenger, and thank you, whoever's watching. Peace.